I'm a journalist, and I am traveling across my home country, Canada. On this journey, I'll be visiting some amazing signature experiences. My first stop begins on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia. I'm here in Nimmo Bay in British Columbia's Great Bear Rainforest. This lodge is so remote, you can only access it by helicopter or by boat, and you really feel like you're immersed in the wilderness. The Great Bear Rainforest is a magical place, famous for its bears and wilderness. It's part of the largest coastal temperate rainforest on Earth. This forest is so precious, recently parts of its 6.4 million hectares were permanently protected from industrial logging. Here at Nimmo Bay, visitors like me have the chance to experience nature untouched. Nimmo Bay is famous for its helicopter experiences. The remote lodge acts as a hub, almost like a portal to the wilderness. Guests spend entire days exploring the Great Bear Rainforest, accessing locations that would be very difficult to reach without the help of a helicopter.
So what do you think of the Great Bear Rainforest, Wayne?
Well, I love it. It keeps me occupied all year round. It's not only beautiful, but it's a great place to work and to be able to appreciate nature for what it is, and the fact that I get to work in this all the time is just phenomenal. So the waterfalls you're going to find, they're everywhere.
Wow, it's beautiful. How come it's called Goat Falls, I wonder? Maybe there's lots of goats in
Yeah,
here.
there is actually lots of goats here, and sometimes, you know, you see them down here in the trees hanging off a cliff. Generally speaking, on the top of every waterfall, you will find a big, beautiful lake.
Wow!
It's not just about seeing the landscape. This helicopter is taking us to some of the coolest places to fish and hike.
So we're about just about 1 mile up from the very top end of Seymour Inlet, and as you can see, it's a beautiful place for fishing. We're on an island here with some old-growth forest here in the back, which is fantastic grizzly bear habitat. So since we're going to do a little bit of fishing, maybe a little fly fishing down here below, we'll just talk a little bit about bear safety. We're hoping that we have an encounter with a bear, but it should be civilized, at a distance, and we can all coexist, okay? If anything goes wrong, I have the shotgun, we have bear spray, and otherwise, just pay attention to my lead, and we'll go from there. Look at this spot.
This is beautiful.
You can smell the snow. You know what snow tastes like?
Yeah.
When you were a kid? It smells a little bit like that.
And that's because the water's coming from the glacier.
Yeah,
now.
right off of a glacier. The glacier here is about maybe 15 miles up the valley. Nice high glacier. And so the water level's quite high, and you can see that it's greenish in color, which has got the glacial silt that's starting to come into it. And it'll get milkier or chalkier as the summer, as we progress into the summer.
Can't wait to get in there. Let's get in there. Wow.
Isn't this amazing?
Amazing.
What do you
Thank
think,
you.
eh?
It's beautiful. Thank you, Wayne.
You see how if I hold the rod up and I go between the kind of the 10 o'clock and the 2 o'clock position, but holding the tip up. So 10-2, just back and forth, sort of a fairly stiff wrist, your thumb forward, and then eventually you just want to let it go, and it just casts out there. You see that?
And the fish are thinking that it's a fly.
Yeah, so let's just put this in the water.
Okay.
Let the stream, the current take that downstream a little bit.
And I pull this 10 times?
Yes, and I want you to pull it off of the reel.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
So you get the...
That's 1.
No, pull it right out as far as you can.
3, 4.
So what I want you to do is pick the rod up, throw it back, throw it forward. Throw it back, throw it forward. Keep your thumb on top, okay?
10, 2, 10, 2.
A little bit more energy.
10, 2, 10. Okay, 2.
Okay.
But look, it got caught on there.
Okay. I'll help you there. So what we'll do is we'll pick it up fairly quick. Oh, there you go. You're out.
I'm a pro already.
You're gonna be a pro. So this time, let it go from here and point the rod straight out. Good.
Close?
Close.
Or am I holding
now
it too
you
much?
can. Now that's okay. Now you can point. You see that? Trigger.
Yeah.
And just little strips.
And like you just keep doing this over and over again. Until
Over
you get it
and over and over. And it's
Wow.
about being here and the strategy versus catching.
Okay.
Think of the line itself, right? You're accelerating the line back and you stop. So here, stop.
You're beautiful at that, Wayne. I think you've done it a few times.
Just a few.
This is a wonderful experience. And maybe I'm not that good at fishing, but it's so nice to just be here in the environment and learn. And who knows, one day I might get lucky and catch a fish.
Well, I love the opportunity that heli affords us to arrive here, and we're gonna walk down this flood channel here and walk into this island. And this would be an island between two different channels of a river. And it's still a pristine old growth forest, but also some really good grizzly bear habitat. First of all, here we've got a daybed. You can see how it's kind of scooped out a little bit. It looks like an old one. It hasn't been used this year, but the shelter that's provided here in the summertime, you know, shade, I mean, would be a perfect opportunity for the bears to lie down. They typically feed late evenings and early mornings. So during the heat of the day, like now, they would be in here in the shade, lying down, using these day beds. And we'll see several of these as we go along. This is a big old cedar tree. Look how tall it is. Probably 200 feet high, 175 feet.
You know, there's studies that say that if you hug trees, your cortisol levels go down. And it's really good for your body. I'm not joking. It's very serious. I know people who've done their master's degree on
hugging trees.
On hugging trees. People fly all around the world to these big old growth forests so that they can get the good vibes from the trees.
Here's another example of a daybed here. Also not very fresh because of the leaves from the fall, but you can see how they would come in with their paws and they just make a little, excavate out a little bed, curl up and snooze off for the day.
Variation, isn't there?
Absolutely. There's another bed there, so that's, you know, 3 now we've come across. And
3
that's another
grizzly
one.
bear, well, 4 grizzly
Yep.
day beds. This is a very popular area. Maybe they had a sleepover party.
Well, it would be very popular kind of later in the fall once the fish start arriving in the rivers.
Take a look at this.
Ooh.
So I can see that this tree...
Somebody's been scratching here.
And on this side too.
Grizzly bear. I'm gonna be the healthiest one here. It's a tree spa.
Look how close we are.
And I call call this the hand of God. You have just landed on the top of a volcano.
Wow. Amazing.
Welcome to Kinkum Glacier.
Wow. This is amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my life. This is incredible. I'm literally hanging out on top of a glacier. The best part for me is the blue. The blue that you see in those crevices. Just, you almost want to bite it. It's wonderful.
Ready? I think you like this one the best. So wicked.
Lunch on a glacier. And helicopters.
So far, the glaciers have had the biggest effect on me. Going over top of them and seeing how deep they are and how long they are just makes you realize how small we are, but at the same time they're receding. And a lot of that has to do with climate change and what we're doing to the earth. So it's just mind-blowing. We're really affecting the world.
They're so cute. There's some here. Here at Nimmo Bay, one of the best ways to see the wildlife in the area is by boat. You can explore the Great Bear Rainforest, and if you're lucky, you can see some black bears like the ones who are right behind me.
So yeah, this time of year, these guys are going to be basically getting the majority of their protein, their calories from the intertidal zone, which essentially, at this low of a tide, is about a 15-foot gap. So we're looking at from the water line up into the trees. They're literally flipping rocks over, feeding on crustaceans, and so little crab, they'll eat barnacles, little invertebrates, little worms, and the idea with that is they're kind of just sustaining themselves until August when the salmon start running, and then they'll switch and they'll focus, if they're in the right area, entirely to a salmon-based diet.
These bears here, are they under threat by trophy hunting?
So black bears specifically are hunted in this area, and it's not a lottery system like the grizzly bears. The black bears is just anyone with a resident hunter's number. And that's pretty normal for most of British Columbia. So the difference between black bears and grizzly bears for hunting is the access. So black bears are accessible to most people, where grizzlies are the lottery system for the hunting tags, for trophy hunting specifically. What we've done as an organization is offered a trade-in system. So if you were to get the lottery system of a trophy tag for a grizzly bear, you can trade it in for 3 days at the resort. And the monetary value is quite substantial for that trade-in. And what we basically have done in the past, which is, to me, absolutely mind-blowing, is have people who have been working towards getting a tag to hunt a grizzly for their whole lives. They get one, they're exposed to new information, they take the chance to open their mind to a different thought process. They trade the tag in, and then instead of shooting this bear on this river system, they'll come with myself and actually go to view the bear and interact with it from a distance as a learning process.
So how many bears have you saved?
In this area, we had 3 last year and hopefully 5 this year.
So you've saved 8 bears since you started, and those would be grizzly bears?
Yeah.
Wow. The new British Columbia government says grizzly bear trophy hunting is no longer allowed in the Great Bear Rainforest. Hunting bears for meat only will still be allowed in the rest of the province. Being here on a boat in the Great Bear Rainforest has been amazing. I've seen so many animals in just one day, and the best part is they're all in their natural environment. It's just fantastic.